everything pretty. Unless you're talking about the bridge and seaport. Even from the seats in the upper decks, you can see the seashore. Tailgate function with the carne asada. Just walk from the tribal building for the Padres, I'm on it. Yeah, cause for the 619, we'll knock you down. Anything for the Brown, put it on the town. Started back rocking the Brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang.
All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 257 of the Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. I'm your host, Ben Fadden. Thank you for tuning in on the podcast platforms or here live on YouTube or on replay. I appreciate it. Padres lost tonight 10-6 to the Phillies. They're now down 3-1 here in this National League Championship Series. Disappointing loss. I guess that's where we'll start. I mean, the Padres offense scored 6 runs, had a 4-0 lead, had a 6-4 lead, lost them both. The Phillies hit 4 home runs tonight. I think it's going to come down to Clevenger and Manaya's performances tonight. There's a lot of second guessing going on social media, with Padres fans and Bob Melvin. I'm not going to be on the high end of that, of second guessing Bob Melvin. For me, there were a couple spots where I will say maybe should have went with a different matchup there. Maybe should have went with a different pitcher there. But I think it was okay for him to start Clevenger tonight. I'll just start with that. Clevenger said he was fine. He's been working with trainers. The Padres, the coaching staff, they know more than we do about Clevenger's health status and how he's looking. Ruben Niebla is probably having a watchful eye on him leading up to this start. So if they're going to say he's okay to start, then I'm going to think he's okay to start. Bottom line is he sucked tonight. That's the bottom line. Could not get an out. Had to have Nick Martinez come in there in that first inning and strand Bryce Harper. By the way, Nick Martinez, one of the MVPs of this game, and it's a shame that he's not going to get a bunch of credit or spotlight or anything like that tonight because we're going to be focused on Manaya and Clevenger and the Padres being down 3-1, and now they have to go win 3 games in a row if they want to get to the World Series. And they're facing Wheeler tomorrow in Game 5. By the way, the attitude needs to be just go 1-0. Do whatever you can to go beat Zach Wheeler tomorrow. The good news is Robert Suarez, Josh Hader, they weren't used today. I thought no doubt they were going to be used today, even if they were losing, because this was essentially a must-win game, I thought. Going down 3-1, especially against a team that's as hot as the Phillies. Talk about a miraculous comeback if the Padres can win 3 games in a row here. I know they won 3 games in a row against the Dodgers, but the Dodgers' offense was not as hot as this Phillies offense is. So it can be done, but I thought tonight was very, very disappointing. With Clevenger, after the Padres give him 4 runs of support, Manny with the home run, Bell gets on base, Crony, amazing walk, tremendous 9-pitch walk. I thought that was the key of that first inning. Those runs ended up being huge, 10 minutes later, or the walk, Cronenworth's walk ended up being huge, like 10 minutes later, because of Clev's performance. And after the walk, 2 outs, when that walk happened, Drury with the RBI hit in the gap, and then Ha-Sung Kim taking that kind of like a Gene Segura swing from the other night, taking that pitch that was down and just blooping it over into the outfield to bring in another run. Clev has a 4-0 lead, and he leaves it being 4-3, a 1-run lead, and didn't get an out. But, I mean, the starting pitching in this game, holy cow. Bailey Falter, I think that was that guy's name. He faltered tonight, definitely. He ends up going 2/3 of an inning, 4 earned runs. Clev didn't even get 1 single out. Comes in, single to Schwarber, gives up the home run to Hoskins. Hoskins got it, the Padres twice tonight with the home runs. Then walks the 3-hitter, Remuto, and then he gives up the double to Bryce Harper. It was a pitch like right down the middle. Talk about a BP pitch. That's what that was. So he was just terrible tonight. Yeah, he has a sprained MCL. That's what he's been dealing with. But I'm sorry, it's the playoffs. You said you're feeling well. You have to just pitch better. And there's people that are saying Clev should have never started this game. You should have had Nick Martinez start. Well, yeah, no S. If we knew Nick Martinez was going to go 3 shutout innings, of course, yeah, we would have. Bob Melvin, if we were managing, we would have started Nick Martinez too. But he didn't know. We didn't know that. But Nick Martinez came in and was amazing. But then you go to Manaea, and he struggles as well. He gives up, 5 runs, walks 2 guys, gives up a home run. I think he gave that home run up to Hoskins, gave up the double, another double. That one was to left center to Harper. He didn't have it tonight. I think, going into this game, or at least going into this series, you knew that the Padres were going to have to use relievers that weren't named Robert Suarez, Josh Hader, Luis Garcia. You knew that you were going to have to use Clevenger and or Manaea, and you just hope and pray that they were going to pitch well, and neither did tonight. You knew that we were going to have to use Steven Wilson. He gave up a run. You knew that Garcia or Suarez or Hader were going to pitch tonight. I thought all 3 would, but Garcia pitched, gave up that 1 run, the home run. That was one situation where I thought, there's 2 outs, got a lefty up in the 6th inning. Garcia came in that 5th inning after Manaea, so he already had faced 3 batters. I thought that's where you maybe put Tim Hill in there to get out of that inning, get Schwarber out, left on left. Garcia gives up the home run. It was just a missed spot, but I don't think that's the end of the world. Manaea, the decision to keep Manaea in and not go to Garcia to start the 5th, I didn't really understand that, especially when Bob Melvin was willing to go to Luis Garcia in the 5th inning anyway. Like, if you're willing to go to him in the 5th inning, then just let him start the inning. Why are you bringing him in after Manaea had already struggled, Maybe they wanted more length out of Manaea. They did, obviously. That's why they had him start the inning. But you have Manaea there in that 5th inning facing the top of the Phillies order. Definitely the middle of the Phillies order. Had him face Schwarber, was the second batter that he faced, walked him, gave up the home run to Hoskins, his second of the night. Mound visit, then he walks Real Muto, and then gives up the double to Harper. And then there's the pitching change, right? So you're facing the top of the order there. Only one of those guys was a lefty, and that's Schwarber. So after Schwarber there, you have Hoskins coming up, a righty. Maybe you go to Garcia there instead of sticking with Manaea. Because Manaea came in to start the 4th inning. So he faced his 3 batters in the 4th inning. So that's one where I disagreed with it. But going into this, I knew, at least from my point of view, I knew that they were going to have to use Clevenger. They were going to have to use Manaea probably. And both of them just did not pitch well. The Mike Clevenger trade, it did not work out for A.J. Preller. That's one of those where it's like, yep, probably missed on that one. Give up Josh Naylor. He's doing well with Cleveland, and Owen Miller, and I was fine with giving up Hedges. I was fine with giving up those guys for Clevenger. I was happy when the trade happened. I thought we fleeced Cleveland, right? So I can't really bash Preller for that move, but I can say, looking back on it, in hindsight, that move did not work out. That trade, Cleveland got the better end of that deal. Clevenger gets hurt in 2020, out all of 2021, and then this year had some injuries, dealt with the knee issue the whole year, and in the postseason, right, when it matters, what we got him for, he did not pitch well against the Dodgers, and he didn't record a single out against the Phillies in a game that was, I think, a must-win game. Now you're down 3-1, and you have to win 3 in a row. I know they won 3 in a row against the Dodgers, but the Phillies are playing better than the Dodgers were, right? We know that. So it's going to be tough. I think it will be a almost miracle if they win 3 in a row. Like, this Padres team is very, very good. They scored 6 runs as an offense. You score 6 runs, you think you're gonna win the game. The pitching just wasn't good. But when you have to face Wheeler and then Nola and then Musgrove on short rest, I'll take Musgrove over whoever Philly throws. But I think it's getting through games 5 and 6 tomorrow and then on Monday, and you have to win both of those games. So they're not done. Season's not over, but going down 3-1 tonight, it is a uphill climb. It is a steep hill that the Padres are going to have to climb tonight. Those are my initial thoughts. I mean, look, I was happy with the offense most of the night. I mean, I was very happy with how the offense showed up early on, right? They just totally give it to the Phillies there. Falter, whatever the guy's name was, Manny homering, Crony with the great at-bat after Bell got on. 2 outs, Drury with the hit, Kim with the hit. That was great. That would have been great if they do that tomorrow with Darvish on the mound, all right? You're probably winning that game. But they did it with Clevenger on the mound, and he sucked tonight. And then Soto gives the Padres a 6-4 lead later in the game, and then they just give it right back to the Phillies with Manaea on the mound. And that Soto home run happened going into the bottom of the 5th, after the top of the 5th was over. And Manaea had already pitched. He already faced his 3 batters. And they brought in Garcia after Manaea had struggled there in that 5th inning. I ask, why go to Manaea there in that 5th inning instead of just going straight to Garcia if you were willing to have him pitch in the 5th inning anyway? Like, think about this. I know Garcia gave up that 1 home run, but if they had Garcia start the 5th inning, have him pitch a couple, or let's have him get 5 outs, and then, or whatever that situation was, and then you have Tim Hill go pitch to Schwarber left on left to end the 6th inning, and then you could have Suarez. Do you have a 6-4 lead, let's say, or 6-5 or whatever? You still have the lead because of the Soto home run. You go to Suarez for a couple innings. He's already shown that he can do that. Or you can go to Suarez for 5 outs, and then you can have Hader get 4 outs. Just some combination there. I didn't think that they needed to go with Manaea there for that 5th inning. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Give your thoughts in the comments. I will eventually get to those. I'm sure Bo Mel has spoken to the media. I'm sure players have spoken to the media. So I will get to their thoughts. But I just wanted to get my initial thoughts on this. I mean, when Bob Melvin, getting back to Clev here for a sec, Bob Melvin was speaking to, I think it was Verducci, during the game. And let me find that clip, actually, because I did post it. At Talking Friars on Twitter, by the way. That's where all the game clips I post are. Sorry, I posted a lot today. I'm going to have to... Here it is. So, Verducci asked Bob Melvin about Clevenger, and some people didn't like Bob Melvin's response here. I sort of liked it. I'll explain after. Here is Bob Melvin. This was after he'd already pulled Clevenger after the terrible first inning where he couldn't get an out.
On the fly. We got some bulk innings coming up here, probably for potentially Manaea, but it breaks my heart to have to take Clev out of that game. He's been busting his butt for us all year, and working through some stuff. Hopefully, he gets another chance.
There you go. So hopefully he gets another chance. That's kind of where I think people got pissed off with Bob Melvin a little bit there. But that's what Bob Melvin is. Like, it's sort of like, what else is he supposed to say? He's always going to have comments in his guys. That's just who Bob Melvin is. And I don't agree with Bob Melvin there. I hope he gets another chance. I don't think he should get another chance after 2 outings here in the postseason where he has not looked good. But I definitely like, him saying how much it pained him to take Clev out of the game there. I understand that. And Clev has been battling with that knee issue all year. He's been fighting. He's been working his butt off, I'm sure, behind the scenes with the training staff and all of that. But he hasn't been good. He did not show up here in the postseason. And no, I don't think that he should get another chance. Unfortunately, I don't think he should get another chance this postseason. If he does get another chance, if the Padres reach the World Series or they need him later in the, or if a situation presents itself later in the series, like I would not be confident in having Mike Clevenger out there. And you're down 3-1 now. I don't see another situation where you go to Clevenger at all in this series, you know? So I don't think that he'll get another chance. I wasn't too mad about Bo Mel's comments there during the game because, you know, it's kind of like, well, what is he supposed to say there? But yeah, just Clevenger wasn't good. And obviously, people are going to look at, oh, well, what's going to happen now in free agency with Clevenger? And are the Padres going to want to bring him back? Or maybe it's going to come at a cheaper cost because he didn't pitch well, right? I don't know if the Padres, I don't know if it's in their best interest to bring Clevenger back. I can elaborate on that more in the offseason. I don't really feel like focusing on that right now because the Padres are still in this series. The season isn't over. I did think this was essentially a must-win game if they wanted to win this series because winning 3 in a row against the Phillies is going to be incredibly tough. It's 3 games in 3 straight days. The good news is Suarez and Hader are going to be ready to go, and they're going to pitch 3 days in a row if they have to, I think, definitely with the season on the line like this. And Garcia is going to have to pitch. So that's a positive, I guess. Again, same positive entering today. Suarez and Hader, they're going to be ready to go. They weren't used tonight. I was kind of surprised by that. Suarez had pitched earlier, not just the 8th inning, during games in the postseason, or at least during one game in the postseason. I think I want to say he came in the 5th or the 6th in one game of this postseason. So I thought maybe he comes in earlier at some point, maybe when it was 6-4 or something, and you just deal with later in the game, because I thought that was important. After you got that 6-4 lead with the Soto home run, to keep it there. You're facing, I think it was, what I say earlier, it was the middle of that Phillies order, top of the order there, in that, 6th inning. And, or no, 5th inning, sorry. In that 5th inning. And Manaea just couldn't get those guys out. And then they went to Garcia. I thought they should have just started the inning with Garcia, to be honest. When I hit on that bullpen there, about us having Suarez and Hader available tomorrow, and they're going to be ready to go multiple innings, both of them, maybe. Like, you have to put everything on the table tomorrow behind you, Darvish. Darvish hopefully has a quality start, takes you through 6, and then 7 and 8, Suarez, or 7 into the 8, Suarez, and then you have Hader pitch. That's probably the Padres' ideal scenario. You just got to pitch them. Give your all. Season is on the line. You literally cannot lose tomorrow. You could lose tonight. You literally cannot lose tomorrow. But a positive on the other side of things for the Phillies, while the Padres bullpen is fresh, the Phillies bullpen, they also are going to be fresh tomorrow too. They had the day off tonight because the Phillies had that 4-run lead after the 7th inning when Realmuto homered off of Steven Wilson. Kind of felt like the Padres were punting the game when Wilson and Morejon pitched. But also, like I said earlier here in this show, Morejon and Wilson, they were probably going to have to get used at some point in this series. The game was lost when Clevenger and Manaea gave up a combined 8 runs. The rest of the bullpen gave up a combined, 2 runs tonight? Martinez didn't give up any. Garcia gave up 1. Wilson gave up 1. So this is on Clevenger and Manaea. But you were going to have to pitch Wilson and Morejon probably at some point, and they both gave up runs, or 1 run each. But yeah, Jose Alvarado, Seranthony Dominguez, they're going to be good to go tomorrow. Maybe multiple innings for both of them as well. So they might have this. They're going to have the same strategy as us. have their starter, Zach Wheeler, go, 7 innings, 6 innings, and then you go to, for them, Alvarado and Dominguez. For us, Darvish, 6 innings, 7 innings, and then you go to Suarez and Hader. So I'm interested to see if that plan works out for both teams or for which team it works out for. Obviously, you hope the Padres. And obviously, I'm looking to see if Wheeler is going to be as dominant as he was in Game 1, obviously, because he was amazing in Game 1. So, man, disappointing loss. Just some of the decisions. I'm not someone that goes and criticizes Bob Melvin for every move that doesn't work, because that's so easy to do. Sit here on the couch and you're like, well, I would have put in Luis Garcia here instead of, I don't know, Mania. And it's like a May game, It's so easy to do. But in the postseason, when Mania hadn't pitched in a while, Clevenger did not pitch well. I mean, look, I wasn't pissed off about him keeping Clevenger in there to face Harper. Like, he didn't get one out. Is it too much to ask for Clevenger to get one out? One. He didn't get one out. And Bomel pulled him. So I can't get too mad about that. Usually I don't go criticizing all of Bomel's moves. He knows what he's doing. The coaching staff knows what they're doing. They know more baseball than we do. But some of these moves were frustrating. And whenever I do criticize Bomel, I do it not because of the result of what happened. I mean, I guess that kind of factors into it. But I do it because I'm questioning the move as the game is going on. Like, as Mania is going out there for, what was it, the 5th inning, and you're having, he's facing Hoskins, Schwarber, Remuto, Harper. You're like, all right, he's going out here again, a lefty, when Remuto's a righty, Harper's a righty, he's a lefty, sorry. Hoskins a righty, Remuto a righty. Maybe you go to Garcia here, and then you see Garcia warm up later in the inning, and it's like, oh, yeah, maybe you should have went to Garcia there. I'm not going to be someone that's going to sit here like some people on Twitter and be like, oh, well, like 30 seconds after someone hits a home run, shouldn't have left Mania in there. I'm only going to do it if I was questioning it while I was watching the inning, while I was watching the game, and trying to manage along with the game, if that makes sense. Look, Bomel has done a tremendous job this year for the Padres. The coaching staff has done a tremendous job this year, I think, for the Padres. So, at the end of the day, it is on the players. The players had to play better tonight. The pitchers, 2 pitchers specifically, Mania and Clevenger, they needed to be better. They were brought in to be better than how they pitched tonight, and that was the difference tonight. They gave up 8 runs. The Padres offense scored 6. So again, positive takeaways from yesterday was that the bullpen was going to be like Suarez, Hader, they'd be good to go. Well, they didn't even pitch today. So that's the same positive takeaways going into tomorrow's game. Right? So 10-6 is the final. Let's see what some of the players had to say. I'm sure it's a very quiet clubhouse, but we'll see. So here's Austin Nola.
Your thoughts on how this game went down and losing 2 leads?
Yeah, it's a tough one for sure. Not how we planned it out. It's just, we got to do a better job all around in every facet of the game.
Seemed Cleb struggled right from the get-go. Nick did a really nice job. What was the challenges tonight for Mike, and also Sean seemed to have some?
Yeah, they put some good swings on some balls, and they were attacking the fastball for sure. And those are 2 good fastball guys between Cleb and Sean. They attacked fastballs and hitters counts. We fell behind. We didn't make pitches, and then when we got ahead, we just got to execute. That's really it. I got to do a better job of moving the ball around and not being so predictable.
You guys have done a pretty good job of being able to turn the page, but how tough is
We got to be relentless. We're determined. I mean, we're not going to, this is not going to be the end for us. We're going to keep fighting, keep pushing.
You guys have had your backs to the wall before, and you've come through. That helped at this point.
Yeah, we've been tested. We've been there. We've done it. So let's bring our best game tomorrow. That's all we can do. Take it one game at a time.
Might there be some silver lining that you guys did score 6 runs, get the offense going a little bit, especially against a tough competitor tomorrow?
Yeah, we need that. We need it each at bat tomorrow. We do it each at bat. We're going to be in good shape.
Also, when you get a lead like that on this team, and they just kept coming at you, even when you guys had tried to keep them looking again. Just tell us, I don't say how the moral like it, but they just kept at it, and tonight they just kept coming at you guys.
That's what good teams do. You score, and then you score the next inning, and then when somebody else scores, that's just good teams. They're going to keep playing that baseball.
All right, that's Austin Nola. I mean, that had to be tough for him to be behind the plate and Clevenger not be able to get an out. He's trying to find pitches for Clev to throw and locations, and Clev's just lost out there. Same a little bit with Manaea there in the 5th inning. That has to be tough. I saw, the home runs that were allowed. Nola sitting back there asking for a pitch down and away, and it ends up being middle. And he's like, he just has that reaction of what the F, Not like pissed off at the pitcher probably, but just like, well, didn't hit his spot, Sucks. Watching that game tonight and those home runs, 4 home runs, that sucked. And Juan Soto, he had his moment tonight, right? 6-4, takes the lead there with that home run. Huge. And by the way, I say he had his moment. He's had plenty of moments in this postseason. Like, there's people that are going to say Juan Soto's had a bad postseason. Well, he had the home run today, gave him the lead. The Dodger game 4 on that Saturday night, tied the game, right? And then tied the game again, game 2 of the NLCS at Petco the other day. Go back to the wild card series. He had that big hit to blow it open. I think blew it open down the third baseline, right? So he has come up in situations. Has he come up in every situation? No. Manny hasn't either. No one has. I mean, maybe Harper. That's what it feels like. Maybe someone on, the Philly, Hoskins. That's what it feels like. That's how hot the Phillies offense is. But, I mean, Soto, he has come through a little bit here offensively. He has not, I don't think he's had a terrible postseason. And it made it tough because, you have a 6-4 lead. You throw Manaea back out there, lead's gone. Had a 4-0 lead in the first inning. That lead's gone right when Manaea comes in. After Martinez pitched his butt off, throwing those 3 great innings, 9 up, 9 down after Clev couldn't get an out in the first inning. It's disappointing. It sucks. Martinez, he had everything working tonight. I just want to praise him because it would not have been, this game could have been even uglier. The Padres maybe wouldn't have even had that 6-4 lead after that Soto home run if Martinez didn't pitch the way he did, Strands Bryce at third in that first inning. And then doesn't give up any more base runners. It was great. The changeup, holy cow, was that working. That changeup that he threw to Bryce Harper, I think that was his final batter that he faced in that third inning. That changeup made it look like it was going to be a strike on the outside part of the zone. Bryce swung at that pitch, and that was like 3 feet off the plate. I'm not exaggerating. And then he pops out to left the end of the inning. That's how nasty he was. I think he threw a changeup to Bohm on a strikeout. He got a fastball by one guy. He was tremendous tonight. And Nick Martinez is the type of guy that he'll be like, I'm ready tomorrow. Actually, he would be ready tomorrow probably anyway because he didn't pitch yesterday. But with the season on the line tomorrow, he is going to be ready. And he'll be like, Skip, Bob Melvin, any situation you want me tomorrow, I'm ready. I threw over 30 pitches tonight. I don't care. Our season's on the line. You want me to go face a few righties or a couple righties here? Put me in the dang game. So Nick Martinez is definitely turned into one of my favorite players on this team. I'll get to your comments, by the way. Don't worry about it. You can use the super chat button to make sure I get to your comment. I appreciate everyone for tuning in here. Episode 257 of the Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. I'm Ben Fadden. This episode brought to you by Gaglione Bros Famous Cheesesteaks and Garlic Fries. GaglioneBros.com is the website. They're located on Friars Road. And then they also have locations inside Snapdragon Stadium and inside Petco Park. Will the series get back to Petco Park? They're going to have to win tomorrow for that to happen. So we will see. Here is Joe Musgrove sharing his thoughts. Again, this is from 97.3 The Fan. Here we go.
Tough one, but you guys have turned the page before.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we expected. We expected a dogfight. These guys got a lot of energy, a lot of rhythm at home, but, we got our best guy on the mound tomorrow. I know they got theirs too, but, we trust our guy.
You guys have been tested before. You've had your backs to the wall before. Does that help now in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, the idea is win one game. We got to play the best 9 innings of baseball we can tomorrow, and then worry about the next one when it comes. But right now, it's one win at a time.
Offense did show up tonight. You guys did score 6 runs. How much does that help maybe against going against a pretty tough competitor tomorrow?
Yeah, we're swinging the bats well. I think we just gave a few too many hittable pitches tonight. The guys swing the bats well. We know where the spots are to attack, and we're just ultimately not getting the pitches there. So, game on the line tomorrow. We wouldn't want anybody but you having the ball.
Joe, how hard is it for a guy like Sean to rest that long and then try and go out there and pitch in a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been 12, 13 days since he got on the mound last. I thought his stuff looked really good. Again, a couple pitches that leaked over the heart of the plate that did some damage on, but I thought his stuff was really good.
What did you see out of Mike tonight?
I don't think he felt all that comfortable. I know he's been battling with some stuff the last handful of starts, and I've talked about it before. Sometimes you have a couple outings where you're not in sync as well as you want to be, and the delivery's off a little bit, and you do that enough times, your body starts thinking that's how it wants to move. So sometimes it's tough to get back to those proper feelings. So, ultimately, regular season game, he probably gets a chance to work through that and get deeper into the game. Right now, there's just not time for it. So.
Yeah, so there's Joe. I don't think Shamania is going to use the 12, 13-day thing as an excuse. Having that long of a layoff pitching, and I'm sure it's tough, but it's the postseason, just didn't do the job good enough tonight. And with Clevenger, he's working through some stuff, didn't feel in sync, according to Joe. He didn't pitch well enough either. That's what it comes down to. This is not the time for excuses. Haven't pitched in a while. I'm not used to pitching in this situation. That doesn't work right now. Padres' backs are up against the wall. Down 3-1 now. And Yu Darvish on the mound tomorrow. I like their chances. I think they can win tomorrow with Darvish on the mound. But you also have Zach Wheeler on the other side of things, and you have Dominguez and Alvarado on their side as well. So, look, it's still, it's 3-1 lead, so that might be it might look, if you're not paying attention to this series super closely, well, the Padres, man, they're not on the same level as the Phillies. Well, they scored 6 runs tonight. It was 1-1 after 2 games. It maybe might have been different if the umpire at third base would have not struck out Profar last night in the 9th inning. It's been a close series. Tonight got away from them because Clevenger and Manaea did not pitch well. So tomorrow I expect it to be a close game. I think the Padres can win tomorrow, but they're going to have to show up. They're going to have to play better than they did offensively against Wheeler in Game 1. And Darvish is going to have to pitch probably as good as he did in Game 1. He gave up, 2 runs, those 2 home runs. One of them was a pop-out. Tomorrow's a day game, so maybe that's a home run as well in Philly. I don't know. The one that Bryce hit. So I want the same performance from you, possibly better if he can. He is the ace, right? So you got to have high expectations for him. And then the offense show up against Wheeler. Hope Wheeler doesn't have as good of a game. Here is Nick Martinez discussing his outing tonight, and if he wanted to go out there, pitch another inning. Just here's his thoughts. Again, I think he was one of the MVPs of this game, and it's probably unfortunate that the Padres, or it is unfortunate they lost, but it's unfortunate that he's probably not going to get a bunch of love because the focus is going to be on the Padres losing.
Have you been challenged? How do you turn the page on this one? Just gotta be ready to come back out here tomorrow. You once again did a fantastic job. You've been doing all postseason. How much was it a challenge for you tonight to go 43 pitches? You haven't done that since June 22nd. Oh, I felt good. Body felt good. I didn't pitch yesterday, so I had 2 days off really. So body was feeling good. It just felt like they were there. You guys have had your backs to the wall. Does that help you at this point, being in this situation again? No, I think we're dangerous when our backs against the wall. When we're put up to the challenge, we show up. So we got to make sure we do that tomorrow.
Can you take us through the emotional kind of roller coaster of that game from the first inning on?
Yeah, we started off hot. It was great. Obviously a lot of game left, but we like that momentum going our way. Tough bottom half. Again, they didn't show any quit, and we weren't either. And they ended up on top today.
When you guys are two teams, you guys are very similar. You guys both, you've won a lot of late games. You have a lot of fight to you. When looking across it, it's almost kind of looking at yourselves a little bit when you see that team.
I don't really want to say that because they won today. But yeah, I mean, there's some similarities there. Not a lot of quit over there, not a lot of quit over here. So, be ready to bring it tomorrow.
Nick, how did you feel after 3 innings, and did you want a fourth?
Yeah, I mean, you ask any competitor if he wants to go back out there, they're going to say yeah. So I felt good, but obviously with the guys we got in the bullpen, I have a lot of confidence in those guys, and so does Bob, and so do the position players. So it just didn't go out in our favor today, but still a lot of trust in those guys out there.
The offense, they just kept coming at you.
I'm sorry,
their offense, they just kept coming at you as a group. What was it about their offense and their approach that just made them so tough tonight?
I mean, just like us, they're resilient. They're not going to take their previous at bat into the next one. They're going to compete every single at bat, and they're not going to let you off the hook for the rest of the game. That's why they're here. That's why we're both here. We're not going to give in. Neither are they. That's what the playoffs are all about. Again, they just ended on top the last 2 games.
So I did see a comment from someone asking me if I saw the Nick Martinez interview, so I just played it there. And I think what you're talking about there is Nick saying that he wanted a fourth inning, or hinting that, saying that any competitor, would want more. I was fine with Martinez going 3 there. I mean, he hadn't thrown that many pitches, like Bob Scanlon said there, since June or whatever. So he did his job. He 9 up, 9 down, over 40 pitches, I think. He handed it to the bullpen. Again, I was fine with Anaya coming into the game. I just thought, okay, it's the 6th inning now. You have Garcia, Suarez, Hader that you can use to finish the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. You have Tim Hill that you can use as well. So I felt like you have the lead there going into, it was the bottom of the 5th, right? 6-4. You use your big guys, Mania did his job there in that 5th inning, or excuse me, in the in the 4th inning, excuse me. Clevenger not getting it out really screwed with this game here. I keep thinking that Martinez came in the 2nd. He came in the 1st. Those first 2 innings were long. Holy cow. But yeah, I just would have went to the big guys starting in that 5th inning when you had another lead, right? You already had a 4-0 lead. It was already bad enough that you choked that lead. And now it's 6-4. I want to keep that lead. I need to keep that lead. You can't go down 3-1. You can't let the Phillies go take that lead again, and then you just feel like, well, everything's on their side now, All right, let's get to the chat a little bit. I'll kind of be going back and forth between the chat and some comments here from players. I don't know if I'm going to get Bomel's comments here, but we'll see. Sleepy Potato, that was a tough game to watch. Yep, I agree. Rob Mall, very disappointed. JD's third. It is what it is, Ben, right? I mean, no. Yes and no. It is what it is because you can't do anything about it. Padres lost. All right, you got to move to tomorrow. You have to turn the page, like Austin Nola said. You have no other option but to turn the page. Back against the wall. The burn the ships mantra about everyone coming together. Got to come together tomorrow for game 5. Season's on the line. So in that sense, it is what it is. But looking back at it, me talking about this game, it's like, no, it isn't just that. It is what it is. I felt like they had a better chance of winning if there were some other moves that were made. Pedro says just got to win one tomorrow. Yep, I agree. That's got to be their mindset. You can't win 3 games in one game, right? You just win tomorrow and then worry about game 6 on the flight home, right? You have to win tomorrow's game. Do everything. Who cares about game 6? Go win game 5. That's what you have to do. Mike says, no second guessing, we got beat in a must-win game by our 2 worst starters. If you said it right there. We got beat in a must-win game by our 2 worst starters. So why are we throwing our 2 worst starters then in a must-win game, That's where the second that's why the guessing. That's where the second guessing comes in. I think from fans on, social media and stuff, from what I've seen. Some are mad that Clevenger even pitched. Some are mad that Manaea went as long as he did, or that Manaea pitched as well. So that's where the second guessing is. If you're using your 2 worst starters in a essentially must-win scenario, that's going to lead to some second guessing by the fan base. Mike says, anyone else getting tired of watching Philly hitters being interviewed? Well, they hit the home runs tonight. Yeah, they didn't interview Manny after he hit a home run. That's weird. Didn't interview Soto after he hit a go-ahead home run. But they talked to Bomel, talked to Nick Martinez. But I think that was it. They talked to Hoskins twice. They talked to Harper. I think they talked to Schwarber. Yeah, it was definitely, there was some Philly loving on that broadcast, definitely. But I think some of it was the Phillies were at home. They were the ones hitting more home runs than the Padres. They were the ones with the big comeback. But yeah, of course I was tired of it, but I wouldn't have been tired of it if the Padres were on that side of things, right? Mike says, no one on this podcast yesterday thought Clevenger should have been the starter. I think I said I was fine with Clevenger starting. I just thought there needed to be a very short leash. Now, he didn't get one single out. I think that's a pretty short leash, because how bad he was. They brought in Nick Martinez to get the first 3 outs of the game, or first 3 outs of the Phillies side of things. So with them on offense, so I was fine with Clevenger starting. I wanted a short leash. He had a short leash. He has to face 3 batters. So for those people that were complaining, why is Clevenger facing whoever, Remuto, whatever here? Or why is he facing Hoskins? Or he had to face 3 batters. And it does take time for Nick Martinez to warm up. It does take time for any reliever to warm up. So they were trying to stall for Martinez, and he was going to face Harper, and he left that pitch over the middle of the plate, and it ended up being a double in the gap. And right there it was 4-3. And then Clev got pulled. That was a short leash, I thought. Eric asked, Ben, why did Martinez exit early? He was getting people out. He could have played till 6 innings. He's going to say that post-game that he'd be good to go for 4 innings, but he did his job. He pitched 3 innings and didn't give up any runs. Stranded Bryce on third in that first inning, so I'm completely fine with Martinez only going 3. You take it through 3 innings, then you go to Manaea for the 4th. They tried him for the 5th. I thought maybe you go to Garcia there or someone else. maybe for a couple innings, and then you're through 6, and now you have 7, 8, 9 where you can go Suarez, Hader, or Hill, Suarez, Hader, whatever. I thought that's what they probably should have done. I didn't think he exited early. He had over 40 pitches. He pitched amazing tonight. Christopher says it's sad that when we finally get offense, our pitching fails us. Yeah. Yep. I mean, they did have offense in game 2 when they were down 4-0, came back, had some pretty good pitching there. I know that the second inning or whatever, Snell wasn't. I mean, he wasn't terrible. Things just didn't go his way, and the scoreboard looked bad. But I think there have been instances where they've had pitching and offense at the same time. Tonight, obviously, wasn't one of those. For two guys, Clevenger and Manaea. This offense scored 6 runs. The bullpen, if you exclude Manaea, allowed 2 runs? So it was okay. You know, the bullpen had to cover 27 outs today, or 24 because the Phillies had the lead. They had to cover 24 outs today, and they gave up 2 runs. If you, let's not exclude Manaea because you can't. So they gave up 7 runs, I guess, which isn't good. But however many outs Manaea covered, subtract that, he gave up 2 runs. So, and those were 1 run from Wilson, 1 run from Garcia. I don't think that's the end of the world. It was Clevenger and Manaea tonight. All right, let's get to Sean Manaea discussing his outing.
When you're facing a lineup like that, when there's really not a lot of places to take a break, can you feel it kind of battling, slipping away at any moment when you just see them just line drive after line drive?
Start falling behind guys. The top 4 of those guys, or top 4 of that lineup is very, very good. And when you start falling behind them, it'll make it there.
As a team, you guys have been resilient all year. Got to win 3 in a row now. Do you look at got to win 3 in a row, or is it simply to get one tomorrow and see what happens after that?
Yeah, just got to take it one game at a time. You got to get the 3, but you got to get the first one. So, just got to take it one game at a time.
Getting back to their offense, what made them so tough and whether they were so resilient? This what made them such that. What was the key to them? I thought they laid off some good pitches and crushed the ones that they needed to.
If you can get it back to Petco Park, how good a chance do you guys have?
Very good.
How did you feel having not pitched all for the season?
Good.
Did you feel like you were rusty at all because you hadn't pitched, or did you feel comfortable or uncomfortable?
Felt comfortable. I was doing stuff in between to knock the rest off, but when I got up there, it was like another game.
Overall, more about what they did to you, or did you not execute the way you wanted?
Both. I definitely thought I made some good pitches, but they were count and the pitches that they did were crushed. So a little bit.
All right, so there's Manaea. Not a whole lot to elaborate on there. Pretty short responses. He's really pissed off. I don't blame him. Luis says the series is not over yet. We just need to win tomorrow. Let's not lose faith. I love my Padres. I like that. I like having that mindset. I don't want to lose faith either. And I am keeping the faith. Like, I know this team is a good team. They still can win this series. They're just going to have to execute and really, really focus on every at-bat. Have good at-bats tomorrow. Get a lead against Wheeler somehow. Have Darvish pitch the way he pitched in Game 1. And have Suarez and Hader pitch the way that they've pitched this postseason. And since, pretty much the last 2 months, month and a half, whatever it was. So that's just for tomorrow. And then you're going to have to be perfect Game 6, you would think. And you're going to have to be almost perfect Game 7 probably, right? So it's just a very steep climb. The series is not over yet. You're right, Luis. Just win tomorrow, and then you can worry about Game 6. Win Game 6, you can worry about Game 7. You got to go all out in all these games because you have to win the rest of these games. If you don't win tomorrow, there is no Game 6. You don't win Game 6, there is no Game 7. So you got to go all out. Just go 1-0 every day. Eric asks, Ben, what is your percentage for the Padres winning 3 straight games against the Phillies? Oh, man. 3 straight? I mean, I think they're going to win tomorrow behind Darvish. I think it will go back to San Diego. I just don't see them winning. Excuse me. I don't see them losing 3 straight games. And they did win 3 straight games against the Dodgers. Like, they can do it. You know, going back to Luis, like, the series isn't over. They can do it. So I want to say better than 50-50. So I'll say like 60. I won't go as high as like 66 like Pedro's saying, but I'll put it better than 50-50. Like, this Padres team, they're still a good team. Their offense scored 6 runs tonight. They got on the Phillies in that first inning. And they're not going to have Clevenger or Manaea throwing the rest of the series, right? So you're going to see a better Padres team tomorrow than what you saw today, I think, like, as a whole. And you're going to see that for Game 6 and 7 as well. So I'm encouraged by that. Philly has to win one more game, Hugo. They're up 3-1. Luis asks, do you think we should put Alfaro and rest Nola tomorrow? No. That's no. That's not even an option, I don't think. Alfaro hasn't had a postseason at bat yet. If there was going to be a day to rest Nola, it would have been today. Nola has caught for Darvish in every single Darvish start this year. Nola's not resting. With the season on the line, you're not resting your starting catcher. That's not even up for debate. All right, here's Manny talking to the media.
Scored 4 in the first. We couldn't get more across the board there. We could have scored a couple more, but we didn't. And we kept fighting, but it's kind of tough coming back there. And I think overall, I think we tried to hold that ground, and we just couldn't hold it. They went out there and they had some big innings late in the game there, and they got ahead.
You guys have been resilient, all season long. They showed their resiliency as well tonight. I mean, as far as turning the page, you guys have had to do this before. How much does it help having that experience and being able to do it again?
Yeah, just go out there, go out there tomorrow and go perform. I think we got 27 outs left, and we're gonna go out there and compete and leave it on the field. We got Darvish on the mound, we got Wheeler again. We saw him earlier, so just go out there and just keep competing. That's all we can do right now.
With regards to Wheeler, you just mentioned you have seen him before. You guys did score 6 runs tonight. Is that positive to take out of it, bringing in tomorrow?
Yeah, just keep playing. I think overall, the team we have, we're gonna keep fighting to the end, to the last out is made, and whatever happens. But just keep fighting at this point.
Maybe you hit that home run, make that early statement. Did you think you could maybe take the crowd out of it early like that? Is there a rocket crowd?
Just trying to score, trying to get on the board early. We had a good first inning there, and obviously we couldn't hold that one out there, and did his best, and just couldn't get us back in the dugout. But I think overall, we did what we wanted to do today. We just fell short. They had a really good game, and they out hit us.
Yep, Manny's right. Phillies out hit him, out homered him. Had a good game offensively. Manny, holy cow, what a freaking catch that was in that bottom of the 8th inning. By the tarp, running into the tarp. Gold Glove finalist or non-Gold Glove finalist? My ass. Come on. That was such a tremendous play. At Talking Friars on Twitter and Instagram, if you want to go see the play, if you missed it. Tremendous play. A non-Gold Glove finalist doesn't make that play. Manny should be a Gold Glove finalist. It's obvious. He did his job. The offense, they scored 6 runs tonight. It came down to the pitching. Pedro asked, would you have put you on short rest, Ben, like old school days? No. They didn't have to win tonight. I mean, you would have liked to, but you do have you in a must-win game, like literal must-win game tomorrow, even if they would have lost today, and they did lose today. So, no. I don't think you do that. I don't think it would have been smart to do that when you could have them on regular rest for a game that was guaranteed going into today, even before the loss. I think that's all the player. Yeah, that looks like all the player audio that I see for now. Yeah, Root Beer asks, who the F in their right mind leaves Manaea in when Harper's coming to bat after giving up so much? That was before I believe Harper had that double in the left center gap, his second double of the game. Yeah, it's definitely a viable question. It's a worthy question to ask Bob Melvin and to talk about. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have done that. I would have went to Garcia, but it's easy after the fact to criticize Bomel for decisions that he didn't make, or the decision to stick with Manaea facing the middle of the middle of the Phillies order in that bottom of the fifth. But yeah, fans are definitely frustrated, and they have the right to be frustrated. I think that's all the chat. Anything worthy to bring up here? Brian asks, have you looked at the weather report for tomorrow in Philly? No, I have not. I don't even know if I have weather on my device here. Hang on one second. I'm looking it up right now. Weather for Philadelphia for Sunday. Tomorrow, the game's going to be played around, 2 o'clock, 2:30 their time. So it says right now that it's going to be like 65 degrees. There's 24% chance of rain. And then 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, it gets into the 30s for the percentage chance of rain. So there might be a delay at some point, but I think they'll still get the game in. So, the Padres are hoping, maybe they won't play the game. We can rest our guys and Nola will get a rest day. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll get the game in tomorrow. All right. Disappointing loss tonight. Padres back literally against the wall now. Let's see how they do. This is the first time that the Padres have lost, I believe, 2 games in a row, because the Mets series they didn't. Dodgers series, they lost game 1, then won the next 3. And then, so this series is the first time they've lost 2 in a row in the postseason. So what are they going to do? Season's on the line. I don't expect them to lay down. They're not going to lay down. They're going to keep fighting. But it feels like tomorrow they're going to have to be pretty much perfect with Wheeler on the mound. And the Phillies offense is clicking. So it'll be tough. I'll be back with the pregame show tomorrow before the game, and then the postgame reaction as always. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Episode 257 of the Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. Ben Fadden signing off. Have a good night. Go Pods, and keep the faith. Series is not over. See ya.